Hello and welcome to Course 3, Advanced Lessons in CodeJumper. This is lesson number 15 on networks. So let's go through our overview. In this lesson, the objective is that students will understand what a network is and how data is transmitted over that network. Our expected outcomes are that all students will be able to state that data is transferred over networks via packets. Most students will be able to give an example of the information a packet contains. Some students may be able to detail the information a packet contains and explain why the information is needed. And with these last few lessons, the structure is a little bit different. So we have our lesson objectives, then we have an introductory lesson activity and a lesson extension activity. And with this lesson, we will not be using the CodeJumper kit. This is an extension beyond that of basic computer science. Let's start with our key vocabulary. So we have network and packet. A network is a group of computers or electronic devices connected together by cables or Wi-Fi to share data and resources. A packet is a unit of data sent from one computer or device to another over a network. This is a good time to kind of brainstorm and talk to your students and see, what do they think a network is? Think of things that around them that are connected. I mean, we are so connected now, they'll be able to come up with a large number of items that are connected together, how they share from their phones to their tablets to even the TV, even the washing machine can be connected. All right, so this first lesson is really, really hands-on. We're going to be using our classroom, using our space, and pushing back the tables and really becoming the network itself. Each student will become part of the network. So we need string and tape and index cards and envelopes and paper clips. So let's talk about what each one of those are. So we have our data pathway. That's how the data moves. So that's our string. We have our network transmitter, which is what takes the data and moves it, which is our paperclip. And then we have our data packets. So this is the information that's being moved from one thing to another. We have an envelope with a hole punched in the corner, an address card, and a message card. Okay, let's start out. So I have a red square on the screen right now, and that indicates the teacher in the middle of the room. And that teacher can just stand there and around, and surrounding the teacher is these different desks. So you arrange them into a circle, these desks. And what we have on the screen is each desk, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 desks around a circle from that teacher in the middle. A chair is good for the teacher, but each one of these desks have a address card. So it's a index card that can have braille, it can have large print, whatever on it, with a unique number on it. So we have a desk with an index card with the number 10, one with 14, one with 13, one with 19, one with 17, and one is 11. This is your address card. So this address is just like a house number. This is where we live. So in thinking about this from like the mail perspective of how we get mail at our homes, you have an address and somebody puts something in an envelope, sends it to the post office, and then sends it along to your house. And you know where it needs to go by your address. So that's your address card. And then, well, how do we move them? How do we move them from the teacher or from someplace else? In the postal service, we have mail trucks and mail airplanes, even mail boats, and they move them along that network. In computer science, that's our network pathway. It sends all that data along a network pathway. So what we're going to have to do is the teacher is going to have a string connected to their table out to each one of these tables. So that is our network pathway that we can send our data along. So the imagery on the screen has all of our desks on the outside still, our teacher desk in the middle, and a line indicating a string going from the teacher desk out to each one of the student desks. Okay, So now what we have is we have our data. How do we get our data from one place to another? That's where we take our envelope and our message card. The students can write whatever they would like on their card. You give them something specific to write about, a little piece of research, a little piece of information, and then they put that card inside of the envelope. Connect the paper clip to that little hole in the corner, and then attach it to the string. So now your network pathway contains that piece of data. So it's hanging on the string, and then you can push that data along to the teacher. But we need to know where it's going. So the outside of that envelope, you can put the number of where it needs to go. For example, what we have on the screen is address number 10 has a message for address number 14. So they have their envelope, and then it gets pushed to the teacher desk, which then gets pushed up to number 14. So that data just went from address 10 to 14. So that's how they're connecting. And then maybe 13 wants to talk to 17 and 11 wants to talk to 10. So all these data connections are being made to pass along the information. For example, if you want to change the temperature on your thermostat, you go into your app on your phone, that device, and then it sends a message to the thermostat to go either higher or lower. So that's that first lesson. Now the lesson extension activity, and this one is the same concept of that we're doing. It just takes it a little bit further. But this one really is that the network packets contain different types of information. So instead, this time we have that same setup, teacher in the middle, desks all around with the strings going to each one for a data pathway. But this time you have a whole bunch of different packets that you can use. So we're sending over a word to somebody else in the class. So say desk number 11 wants to send something to 13. So each packet needs to contain a little bit of information to get the full message. For this one, we're sending over the word cookie. But what's interesting is we send each letter at one time. First, we send over an O, then we send another O, then we send over a C, then we send over an I. The data may not get there all in the right order. So the address number 13 then needs to take that information and solve the puzzle, figure out what word they're sending over. So they can have, and computers have to do the same thing, put that information back together in a usable way. For this example, they'll send over all the letters that are needed to spell the word cookie. So those are our activities that we have for networks for CodeJumper. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.